How Fish is Made is the first game that Wrong Organ made, the creators of Mouthwashing, a horror game I think has grabbed a lot of people's attention and has definitely created a small community around the game, and this included myself as well. These devs have really captured my sort of eyes, I guess, and I'm very interested in whatever they make in the future. However, as I stated in my mouthwashing video, they did make a game before this called How Fish is Made. Now, I feel like I had to say this at the very start of this video just so I kind of get the point across. This game makes almost zero narrative sense, so when I'm making my interpretations of the dialogue and the overall message of the game, I don't think there's an actual real story here, in my opinion, that I'm trying to sort of display to everyone. This game is free. It only takes you about 15 minutes to beat, so please go play it. And yes, that means this video is longer than the actual game itself. That's because I'm going to go over all the dialogue and what it all means and yap way too much, in my opinion. Trust me, I don't want to taint your experience of this game, and I really do think you should sort of make your own opinion on it before you come to this video and listen to me and my interpretation of it, as I think that's the fun part about games, is you can interpret them however you want, be it a funny game about fish or something a bit deeper that I took away from it. Okay, so if you're still here, I'm guessing you want to dive into this. So what is How Fish is Made? Like Mouthwashing, it's a psychological horror, but instead of people, you play as fish, and it honestly isn't scary in a typical horror way. There's no loud jump scares or anything that really makes you feel physically uncomfortable. It's much more focused on the psychological aspect of making you question what reality truly means. It makes you question your physical autonomy, your own control. Now, what do I mean by that? I understand physical autonomy is a bit of a chunky word, I will be honest. So let me try to explain and how it ties into How Fish is Made. So let's dive in. Hey, it's kind of funny, isn't it? Warning, this game contains potentially disturbing subject matters and trypophobia inducing imagery. What are these disturbing subjects? Well, it's not as bad as Mouthwashing in my opinion, as there's nothing that extreme, but it does get a bit deep at times, especially more on a psychological and spiritual level, I guess. So do be warned if you don't want to go to bed and then think about your place in the universe and how inconsequential you are, because I occasionally do that as well. Starting the game, we fall down into a large mechanical machine and we are greeted by our first fish. Oh, hello. You just dropped? Tell me, going up or down? You'll have to make up your mind by the end. Even the oiliest of us have to. So don't flatter yourself with your choice. Where am I going? Don't worry about that. So which is it, up or down? And now we're given our first option, the option of up or down. We are told nothing. We are just told that this choice is inevitable, unavoidable. We have to choose one or the other. There is no way out of it. But what does one entail? What does up mean? What does down mean? We don't know. So we can't really make a good choice here. We either choose up or down, and the only information we are given is A, up and down, and B, their colors, red for up and blue for down. Now in this video, I'm going to yap a lot about psychology and trying to sort of explain how this game tries to influence you into its meanings and tries to make you think a certain way. And I'm going to say now, I have a very slightly more advanced knowledge of psychology. I did study it at a further stage in school, but I'm not on a high level. So there are many of you out there that are probably in university, college, who are studying psychology that know way more than me. I studied it in sixth form here in the UK. So I have a bit of a knowledge of it. I did study it and I did pass it, so I'm not an idiot. I do kind of know what I'm talking about, but I am a bit rusty on it, and I did try to refresh myself for this video because I do think this game is trying to dive into them topics, and it is an interesting conversation I think that not many games really dive into. As always, if I get anything wrong, please correct me in the comments. I'm not perfect, my words are not gospel, and above all else, I'm a straight up idiot. So please correct me if you want to correct anything that I might say is wrong. You have my full permission to clown on me in the comments and correct me. I encourage the discussion very much. Now, immediately what stuck out to me in this was the two distinct colors, red and blue. Now, most people know that these two are very contrasting colors. Red is aggression, anger, and blue is calm. They're polar opposites. So my impression initially was, which would people pick depending on the color? Well, you'd more likely pick the color depending on which one you prefer. If you prefer red, you'll pick up, and if you prefer blue, you'll pick down. Now, blue is the most popular color in the world, so to me that entails that down would be probably the option that most people pick first. This is something that you do not think about. The colors themselves will attract you to them. I myself realized this. The reason I picked up initially, yes, I will pick up, is because it's red. And that's it. I'm personally not a fan of the color blue. I just think it's a bit of a bland color to me, and red is more my jam. So I initially went straight towards up because of that. It could also give a sight into your psychology and the character you are. Red and blue obviously are, they have their own meanings and their own things that are associated with them, but I really don't want to sit here and talk about color theory because I really don't know anything about that personally, and I'll be honest, I think it's a bit boring. But I do think it could show sort of how this game is trying to manipulate you by using sort of aspects of your life and your personality itself. Just a simple preference in color will determine which choice you pick, and trust me, a lot of you will pick the options depending on the color, and I think it's a very cool thing to do. But think about it in a natural sense, and I know a lot of you might sort of go against this and say it doesn't matter. Color is a very powerful thing that I don't think a lot of people actually understand the influence it has on us. But think about this in a more natural sense. Let's say you go to a shop and there are two, let's say, identical t-shirts. One is one color and one is the other color. Now, let's say you wanted to buy one of these shirts. What's going to make you pick one or the other? Well, it'll be the color. So color does play a big part in the world, and it does make up a lot of decisions. You naturally pick a color, and I sort of think that's a very cool thing to show right off the rip, that naturally we are predispositioned to certain choices just because of these very small preferences that we have. Now, as I said, I'm not a big fan of the color blue, as it doesn't suit me personally. Now, making this important decision, it doesn't matter. The fish has the same dialogue no matter the option you pick. Haha, are you sure? Better be sure, huh? Well, let's move along and make our way through the machine and make our way to two new fish. A larger one stuck in a 6-pack beer rings, and the other one just flopping about. Talking to the smaller fish that's flopping about.
Up, up, up. You look like a smart guy. You also know the way is one way, and that way is up. And ain't no two ways about it. I've always known it was up. I never asked. I never changed. Never lied. Let me hear you sing it. I like to hear it. Where you going? Where you going?
And again, a choice, up or down. Now, I talked to this other fish to try figure out what these two choices entailed, and this fish gave me absolutely nothing. He's very passionate about the one side that he has picked, up. He doesn't give a reason for it. He's just very passionate about it, and he fully believes it with no real questions about it. Choosing up.
Up, up, up. The water has it wrong. The flesh has it wrong. Everything goes up, up, up in the end.
Right, but what does the water and flesh have it wrong about? What does this entail? What about if I pick down?
What'd you say? Come again? Wonder what will happen to you. Will it hurt? Will it stop? Oh well.
So, analysing this fish's dialogue, I'm actually analysing a fucking fish. God, this is weird. The dialogue he presents to me emulates that of political party talks, especially that you see in America from a British man's perspective. So please, I don't care. He talks about one side that he follows as if it's 100% the correct way to follow, and everything they say is gospel and the true way to go. And the other side he is dumbfounded by and cannot comprehend why someone would even pick it. Now, peer pressure is a very powerful thing, and this fish is very set in his ways, and a lot of people would think that he must have his reasons for making his decision. So some people out there would be swayed by his words and might swap to up if they chose down initially, and most people get very easily swayed by those that they perceive as better or more intelligent on a subject than themselves. But he didn't really clear anything up for us, as he himself was asking questions about down, so he clearly is misinformed about the side that he has picked. He doesn't have the full picture. He is picking this side more on a emotional level and not on a logical level. Okay, so what about the bigger fish in the beer rings? Ah, what fortune that we should meet. Do not be foiled by that one. He is lost like so many are. We can only poetry them. I see you are in awe of my throne of inspiration. It clung to me suddenly one day, much like all my ideas do. Complete and undentable. Complete and undentable. No, take it in as much as you like. It is confirmation of my most oily brain. Do tell. What blind groping has brought you to your choice? Be forewarned. I did a lot of thinking to know which is indeed the correct way. All answers come to me very quickly. Such is my burden. Would you like to know? It might change your entire word view. It is down. Yes, this I know for sure. But how, I hear you ask? Let me explain. No. It is simply too complex for you to fathom. My methods are beyond simple minds. I have never even thought of a single reason to question myself. Can you believe it? No, you cannot. I'm elated to have saved you from making a farther embarrassment of yourself. Just think of me as your guide, mentor, and sage. You're welcome. All right, let's just pause real quick. That is a lot. But this fish didn't even give us an option, and he just yapped with big words that he didn't use correctly and probably doesn't understand how to use said words correctly. And he told us that he is smarter than us and that we should just listen to him. Now, they do consider explaining why they chose down, but he just tells us that we're too stupid to understand his reasoning. And to me, this shows me that even this fish doesn't understand the reason he chose his choice, and he is completely lost. He comments that the flopping fish is lost, but the fish in his plastic throne is just as lost as the flopping fish. Both chose their reasons, probably for emotional reasons and not logical. We see that the larger fish is not that smart. He doesn't consider the other side with any reason. He didn't ask any questions about the side he chose. He just chose it. So there's no foresight in his words. He is just spewing nonsense in an attempt to convince you to join him and not doing a good job of actually understanding each side. Again, reminds me of something that is currently occurring right now with politics, where neither side can even comprehend why you'd pick the other and just assume that they're correct and don't ask questions or are critical even on their own beliefs. In all honesty, this is a real thing that many people can very easily get swayed by, and you see it in everyday life. And those they perceive as being more intelligent, more passionate on a certain subject, so the flopping fish's unshaken decision may convince you, or the perceived intelligence of the fish stuck in the rings may sway people's opinions. But at the end of the day, they're both idiots. One got stuck in a 6-pack of beer rings and the other is flopping about, probably dying. Their words mean nothing. They're just spewing what they believe. They don't want to go back on their belief. In all honesty, this is a real thing that many people can get very easily swayed by. Those they perceive as being more intelligent on a certain subject, so the flopping fish's unshaken decision may convince you, or the perceived intelligence of the ringfish may sway you. But if you take a second to think about what they are saying, it's all word vomit. It means nothing. They say nothing of substance or of any use to you, and they don't help you in any way of actually making a logical decision on the two options. It's all emotional. Okay, flopping along, we meet another fish, terrified, shaking in the corner all alone. Talking to him. Oh, hello. The way's over there. I don't know what to do. My family went up, but my best bud said that down is the correct choice. The family is big but distant in their togetherness, but the big group together is safest. It's the toppest truth. Why would he do this to me? Down is wrong. I can feel it between my shiniest flakes. We swam together since both of us were but scampy things. But how can I know if he'll agree to always be my friend? No one cares about how I feel. Not even him. I don't want to choose if I can't know exactly how it will turn out. You. Which way should I go? Up with the family or down with my buddy? Well, again, the choice, but this time we're picking for another. The scared fish has two options here. Follow his family, who he isn't closer with compared to his friend that he's been with for a very long time, but they are his family, so they should only want what is best for him, in an ideal world that is. But his friend he has known for ages, since they were but wee ones, so he obviously trusts his decision as well, but he can't pick between the two, so he asks a complete stranger for help. Picking up, you're right, it's not my fault he was stupid, flattering himself, trying to be big important. I don't always get along with them, but I suppose what your family decides is always best in the end. Thank you. I will never question them again. And picking down, really? I've been so stupid. I can't make decisions for myself. My buddy always tells me as much. He'll be angry when I join him, but he always tells me how to earn his forgiveness. I won't make this mistake again. Oh, how wonderful, how good. This freedom of certainty. Now, as we can see, the scared fish is uncertain of the two choices themselves, with him needing the approval of the player themselves to help inform his decision of either up or down. But the presence of his family and best friend now puts the choice into perspective and what you personally believe is important in the way that you view people. I.e., do you believe that family is a better influence on people or friends? And some people will say family, some will say friends. They're both just as equal, as some people's friends are closer than their family, but others their family closer than their friends. It's just how life works. There is no correct answer here, and you should really pick what you believe is the most important to you. Now, if you talk to the fish again, he asks, by the way, You're going the same way, right? Even now, after giving your answer to his initial question, he still questions the decision himself, showing his indecision and displays a character that needs as much reinforcement as possible for their decisions and actions. To me, this shows that the decision of whatever, friends or family, that's not enough for him. He needs a random stranger to reinforce his choice that he made that technically he didn't even make. This is something that you see very often in people in today's world, often unsure of certain decision, is go with the louder or greater majority, and or as some people call them, sheep, following decisions that may not seem logical, but because the louder majority convinces them to do it, they'll believe it's the right thing to do without actually giving it any logical thought themselves. Agreeing with the fish that you are going the same way. Oh, whew, good. Not that it mattered anymore. Be seeing you. And the fish disappears, reinforcing his decision to whatever option that you picked. But what if you were to select the other option, stating that you were going the other way to him? Oh, should I? My stomach hurts. What if I have to go. Excuse me. Going against the option that you picked for the fish to go with results in his progress you made for him and his decision being completely reset and back to square one, being completely unsure of what to pick. And yeah, a lot of people are like this. They'll hear one conflicting opinion and they'll completely reset into indecision. So instead of the fish making his own mind up of the two options, he needs the approval of others, like many people do, in order to make the decision himself, lacking the mental fortitude and the conviction to pick and remain with a specific option. He just can't pick one or the other, and again, you see that a lot in today's world. Anything you can think of, a lot of people get pressured into liking, disliking, choosing, going, doing, whatever, certain things because of the opinions of others. Everyone's guilty of it and they all do it. It's just how life works. Moving along, we come to a fleshy tunnel and fall down the tunnel, and now I have some questions. When I was first started playing the game, I thought we were in some kind of machinery, akin to a meat processing plant, but the presence of the flesh brings up some questions in what this place really is and what it means. Coming out of the fleshy drop, we come to a dark room and only a light illuminates a condom with a fish inside, stuck with its contents. Speaking to the fish outside the condom, who is observing it, "Behold, what did we do to deserve bearing witness to such glory? It must mean something." But what? What is it trying to say? I've groped through my knocking. I've eyed every detail. I don't understand the message. There must be a way out of this creature's stomach. The answer is here. It looks down upon her. What is it revealing? And again, two choices. This fish looks upon a condom as some sort of greater meaning to look into to find its answer to the question. And I think we can see a pattern emerging here between each of the fish, I mean. They all represent a different way people lead their lives in a certain way. Personal ideology, familiar following, or greater purpose following in this case. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that following a greater purpose is wrong. In order to find a sense of meaning in life as pain, that's called a religion. If anything, I envy those who can truly put their faith in something that they truly don't fully understand, achieving faith. And I mean true faith in something, i.e. religion. But in this case, I don't think the condom with the fish in it is going to have any of the answers that we seek. Selecting up, no, I think it's down. Can you see it? I think I can see it. It talks to me. I can hear its approval in the back of my throat. Hey, some people feel the object in the back of their throat. I must get inside. I must be cleansed by this untainted substance. Why does every game that I've chosen to do a video on, by the way, why does it have to do something with sex? Like, I swear to God, this was not my intention, and I'm not picking these games intentionally. I honestly picked this game thinking this would be a safe game where I didn't have to speak about anything sex related, but here we are again for the third time in a fucking row now. I swear to God, if the next game has this, I'm gonna fucking lose it. I swear to God. But let's talk about this untainted substance, I guess. That shit definitely not gonna be cleansing shit. Moving along, sperm represents the beginning of life itself. The starting gun when something is most pure, just trying to survive. So I guess it is the most untainted thing here, technically. Okay, but what if we were to pick the other option? Surely he would agree with us then, and it would give a good insight into his character. Yes, see it? Can you see it? It has to be. Behold. It's swallowed, for fuck's sake. It swallowed us down, so we must keep going down. First I must get inside. I must be cleansed by this untainted substance. Join me, wash with me in this purity. Oh, to be chosen for such sublime anointment. I truly envy him. I must become worthy. Yeah, I'm good. But this fish, of course, is meant to mirror religion, of course. Cleansing in an untainted or holy substance, i.e. holy water in Christianity's case. But in this fish's case, it's cum. Interesting choice. Again, another way people are influenced in real life by following something they view as above them and of greater power than them. A god, I guess. Hey look, another link to another fish. Something they perceive as greater than themselves, helping them towards a certain decision. Again, there's nothing wrong with this way of living life and thinking, honestly. Probably the best way to live life is by having some sort of belief in a faith, as it gives you genuinely a good way to strive to become a better person in life, and I genuinely believe that. I believe a lot of people get a bit misconstrued about religion, in my opinion. A few years back you had the sort of argument that religions were all just about control and restricting people, but I don't think that's the point of religion. I'm not religious personally. I don't believe in any sort of religion, but I do believe there is a greater power out there. Personally, I just never really fully committed to any religion, but I do believe that they are very important. I do believe that they help a lot of people to truly become better people in their lives and strive to be that better person. Me personally, I just don't think it would be good for me. Again, nothing wrong with religion, all down for it. You do you. If you believe in it, do it. And if you believe you genuinely can help people by converting them, do it. But personally, it ain't for me. But again, I don't think worshipping the used condom will get you on that same level as, you know, finding God with whatever religion. So yeah, bit of an odd link, but we can see what the point is trying to get across. By praising something that has no physical real evidence does make you seem a bit lost, I guess. The fish, so linking it to the condom now with real life religion, which is such a weird thing. So the fish obviously is believing in something that he has no physical proof of himself to sort of reinforce his own faith. So you could technically say that it's the same thing with religion. Most people who follow religion don't have any physical evidence, knowledge, or personal experience to prove a lot of what religion says is real. But that's not the point. The point of faith is having blind faith, having a belief in it because you want to believe in it, because you just believe in it. And the fish is kind of doing the same thing here, but again, it's a used condom, so it's a bit of a weird thing to do. Flopping along a bit further, we come to a blocked path with a bright red button and a fish stuck in some gears. Now, my lizard brain immediately didn't even see the fish. I just saw the big red button and I went straight to press it. But the fish does stop you from doing that. What are you doing? Don't touch that! Somebody help me! Help! Ah! Now, speaking to the fish, oh, please help me. It's embarrassing, but I thought I had found the gills of this creature that swallowed us. So I figured I'd wriggle my way out through them. But who would have thought? They were not gills. If it's not too much bother, could you unstuck me? Thank you ever so much for your kindness. Ah, wait, hold on. This is important. Whatever you do, just make sure not to touch that round red glowing thing over there, okay? Thanks. Whew, what a relief. I thought I might be stuck here forever. I can barely feel my fins. Are they still there? Now, unfortunately, this fish cannot be saved in a way that you probably think you can by releasing him. There are only two options here. Either you close your game off, turn off your PC, and carry on with your life, leaving the poor fish for an eternity of pain and suffering, never answering the question of up or down. Or you can press the red button, tearing him into little kids' portions of fish bites from the chippy. Flopping along, we come to a sewer-looking area with sewage everywhere, and the environment has some choice of words to say, such as how we are to best prepare a fish and also that we are not good enough. A bit interesting, and yeah, it's a kind of a cool insight into what the developer is trying to say here, I think. And carrying on, we come to a large fish with a tongue-eating louse in place of his tongue, resulting in the fish no longer being able to speak, and the louse now speaks for him. Aha! What fortune that you dropped into this most productive of places. Why, me and friendo here? We go way back. I ate his tongue, and we've been co-workers ever since. I'll bet you we have lots of learnings we can share. I always say you have to get passionate about something. Me? I'm passionate about friendship. I want to be there for people as much as possible. It's like my buddy here always says, teamwork is the soul of success. Ironic that, as the fish, friendo here, can't even fucking speak. So how would he say that? I think that's beautiful. Now, well, by golly, I've been struck by the most brilliant of ideas. Would you mind if I incentivized you with a little musical stylings of my own creation? My friendo does so enjoy a little tune here and there. Alrighty then, hold on to your gills. Also, if you speak to him, you have no choice in it. You have to listen to it. My throat is fucking killing. And we're treated to a bit of a musical number here, and we had no choice in it. If you speak to the louse, he just carries on with it and does it anyway. Now, I was going to sing it, but I think that's best not to do this, as you already have to listen to me voice all the characters and my voice itself, and I really don't think you want me to sing. So instead, I'll just let it play, as there's no lyrics to it and there's no vocal track to it, so I'll try to explain it, I guess, what it's trying to, talk about, and I'll yap about these characters specifically. The tongueless fish and the tongue-eating louse. The louse is meant to represent a thing that takes the power away from someone and replaces their voice with their own voice. A true leech on a person's life, taking away their power of their own voice in the world to insert their own voice, changing their agenda itself. And the tongueless fish represents a person who has lost said power in their voice due to physical means or more mental reasons. This is a very real thing. People do lose their own voice and their will to speak up a lot in life due to others in life. And yeah, it's a very cool metaphor and it's a great way to show this. The tongue-eating louse as well is a real thing, which is a really cool way to show it by using a real life example, which eats the fish's tongue and then acts as the fish's tongue, taking a small portion of whatever the fish eats to feed itself. They both live together and they both are, I guess, beneficial to each other, kind of. Probably not. The louse isn't very beneficial to the fish because it eats its tongue. But basically, one controls the other, and I'm sure there are many people out there that do feel like they have no real power in their life and something else controls their life for them. Yeah, we all know people like this, that either they get controlled by a greater power, something like that, like maybe they get controlled more by their religion or their parents. Or if any of you have seen a nice, fun, controlling relationship, they're always fun to actually have experience when one of your mates are in one of them, where their girl or boy, depending on whatever relationship it is, I'm not picky, their girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, is a more controlling individual that prevents them from doing things or changes them in a way that is either better or for worse. So basically, one controls the other, and I'm sure there are many people out there that do feel like this in real life, that there is something in their lives that control them, or potentially that they know someone else that is controlled by another. Some people speak for others, for better or worse, or act for others. It really depends who's doing this for them. I'm sure we all know people like this. I'm sure we all know a couple who are like this, where one obviously speaks for the other and does everything for them to make sure that they are, that they can function. I know plenty of people that probably will not be able to function properly in life because they just refuse to learn basic life skills, and they'll probably need someone else to help them a lot. But even in relationships, there is normally a more vocal person who is normally more outspoken of the two. I personally do know people who are in relationships like this, and do they end well? Sometimes they do end well. Some people are very happy to go along with someone and truly be, I guess, not controlled, but are content with that person trying to make the best life for them. While others, yeah, it can be a point of contention. Now, the musical number, what does it actually fucking mean? I ain't got a fucking clue, I'll be honest. Now, I'll be honest. After watching this for the first time, and the second time, and the 14th time, I still feel like that one guy that was playing DMC5 and he just did not know what the fuck was happening. But I'll give it my best guess, and I really don't know. I'll be honest, I was struggling here. Of course, there seems to be a lot of commentary on large corporate food creation and consumable products in general. They on the side of the can, black box medications, and the danger of how they are prepared. Contamination of all these goddamn things that they show on the screen, from parasites to bacteria, whatever, and one line, you'll be buried with it. Currently, a massive issue in all food production and consumable production is the presence of chemicals, or more specifically, forever chemicals, which as a species, we have not been consuming for a very long time in the grander scheme of things. My favorite example is how complex fucking bread is now. I always love this example. So if you go to a shop now, just pick up a loaf of bread, like the pre-packaged loaf of bread that's sliced, that bread. In the UK, this will be your Hovis, your Kingsmill, your basic stuff. USA people, which is most of you probably, I don't know what the fuck you people eat. Please tell me, I'm actually very curious what your brand of bread is. I'm a bread fan. Bread has 4 ingredients to make it. These is all you need. If you have these 4 ingredients, you can make fresh bread. Well, you need obviously a fucking oven, but you get my point. These 4 ingredients are flour, water, salt, and yeast. That's it. That's all you need to make bread. Now, in the shop with your loaf of bread, look for the ingredients list on the package. In the UK, these are listed normally, they're meant to by law, on the package. Now, just look at the list. Look at how many ingredients there actually are on this list. I just stated that you need 4 ingredients to make bread. So anything that isn't them 4 ingredients is extra. These are not things that we should really be eating. These are either to make it look nicer, rise better, last longer, smell better, feel better, be more spongy, be more crusty, be more grainy, be more tough, be more soft. Anything you can think of, these things do it. Bread is probably the easiest one to do, but you can do it with anything in a shop. Go look at fresh meat, hams, processed sausages, whatever. A lot of the stuff in them are not needed. They're there to preserve it and to change it in a way that honestly isn't fucking helpful in any way, shape or form. Yes, it's nice that bread lasts longer than fucking 2 days, but I'll say this, bread tastes like shit, you'll be buried with it is a bit dramatic. But as I said, there is something called forever chemicals. These fuckers are really fun, and they're more of a recent issue that's being brought up by a lot of people and a lot of health experts. Now, of course, I ain't got a fucking clue. I'm a random guy on the internet. But these are very hard to break down chemicals that can cause some fairly serious problems, and they can remain in your body forever. With how prevalent they are becoming, many health experts believe there is a link between their increase in use and the increase in many, I guess, food-related issues now. Digestion issues, mainly digestion issues, but even other issues that you could fucking spitball for ages about them. The main one that I am concerned with is medical conditions, especially forms of IBS, i.e. Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. These are not fun conditions. There's been studies that have shown that the increase in the amount of chemicals and sweeteners and whatever fucking else you can think of is causing more trigger events for these to occur. They set things in motion and people start to suffer with them. This is honestly what I took away from this musical number, is the problems with having large companies create products that we consume on such a large scale, and when they're able to put stuff into these products when not truly understanding the issues that there are with them. Of course, we all know that processed food is bad and we need to eat fresh, but even fresh food now is getting too difficult to really keep eating. So I think this is the message here, and I think with the fish, it's very apparent with that. But also, looking at mouthwashing, it does link to a bit of that game as well, linking in more of a morbid fashion to that game. Okay, finishing the musical number. Woo-wee. Well, buddy, how are we feeling? Synced with success? Aligned with ambition? And we can choose either yes or no depending if we like the music, I guess. Selecting yes, no doubt about it. My buddy, my pal. I dare say I snuck a little of my core competence in you. You'll feel it very soon, don't you worry. Selecting no. Are you stupid? Damn, that wasn't very nice, was it? Anyway, moving along, we find a bunch of dead fish. Nice. And now some nice lotus seed heads. Ah. There's the trypophobia. And they start speaking to us. Jesus, what the fuck am I playing? Why do you deserve it? Will you be able to live with it? Try and try and try and try and try again. Ah, those double action hinges have always been there. Just for you, right? You'll come back. Everyone does. Weak. Or you'll go looking one way or another. Right? Weak. So what does this mean? Well, honestly, I'm a bit stumped myself. It seems we're missing part of a conversation. This feels like a conversation between two people and we only got one side of it. And honestly, the double action hinges really threw me off my game a bit. But let me guess. To me, it seems like someone is talking to someone about leaving someone's life and coming back into it. Double action hinges indicate the potential to use a door in both directions, i.e. both push and pull. And this indicates the ability to come and go as they wish, both backwards and forwards. Your comeback reinforces this, but they are unsure if they will return now. This could be my personal life, I guess, influencing my analysis of this, as that's immediately what came to my head when reading these sentences. But I don't know. It could be nothing, but I think a lot of these lines will read very different depending on who's reading them. As I said, this is very much coming from my life and my thoughts and what's personally afflicting me. And I think that's the beauty of a game like this. The lines could be gobbledygook. It could mean fuck all, but because of your experiences, they make you think of something. And this means that the game's lines, no interpretation is wrong. They're all right. It just depends on your past experiences and what you're thinking. It's you that makes the game what it is. Okay, let's move along, and I don't want to yap about my personal life. So let's move along to someone very important. It is time. Choose. And now you must choose up or down. However, no matter what you pick, the dialogue is the same. I see. Do you understand yet? This choice that has been given to a worthless critter like you. This is the gift, not the outcome. Did the uncertainty scare you? Or does it scare you to know there is no choice for you at all? Then all of this would be for nothing. But wouldn't it feel better? Don't flatter yourself. I'll tell you a secret. You've already made your choice. This is not about making a decision. This is a test of conviction. Now, this one singular line here is the reason I wanted to make this video, as I believe a lot of people put too much focus on this singular line. A lot of the videos I watched on this game to kind of get a general idea of what people thought about this game, they put way too much focus on this line itself, in my opinion. And why is that? It's the fucking red coloring. I'm not even joking. Red in this game is used to display things of high importance. Up is one of them, killing the fish with the gears, and conviction itself. These are the only things that are highlighted with red, if I'm remembering correctly. So a lot of people focus on these things because red has been shown to be something of an extreme importance, a very, I guess, important action. But the next line itself completely throws a spanner in the works of this entire idea of this game being about conviction itself. Have you strayed from your path? Have you been honest and true to your truth, even to others? Did you believe me just now? I'm just a fish in an imposing room. Good enough, right? The fact that a lot of people take this guy's words so seriously, to me, proves his point. He is just like every single other fish that we have met up to this point. The only difference is he is in an imposing room and he has a bit of a light show to introduce him. He himself says it, but a lot of people ignore it. But I think this game isn't about conviction itself. It's about the line before that. You've already made your decision. The influence of other powers in choice. Choice itself links into this debate of free will, determinism, and fatalism. Three distinct ideas in psychology that would, if any are true, would completely change the way that we ourselves perceive the world. So let me explain. If you have a basic understanding of psychology, welcome to Psychology 101. If you have no fucking clue, welcome to Psychology 101. Free will, I'm sure many of you guys know what this is. It's that everyone has agency of their own actions, thoughts, and whatever they do. They have volition of it. Everything you say, everything you do is of your own accord and nothing influences you to do it. It is always your decision to make said actions. Nothing can blame you for your actions. This is how most of society believes life is. Society believes in free will, and you'll probably ask, well, how do you know? Well, if free will doesn't exist, that means that the justice system is fucking wrong, because if free will doesn't exist, it means we should not punish people for actions they are already meant to make. You get my point. So what if our choices were predetermined? How would they be predetermined in the world? Well, there are two ways that choices in psychology are believed to be predetermined if free will does not exist. Well, that is called either determinism or fatalism. Determinism is the idea that previous life experiences will influence the way that you act in a situation. So, for example, very basic example, let's say you get attacked by a random guy on the street or a dog. Well, the next time that this thing happens to you, you will do something to respond in a different manner because you know what that action is going to do. I.e., let's say you got bit as a dog as a child. Well, now if a dog comes up and tries to bite you, you'll either respond in some way, running, kicking. The past action itself influences the next action you'll take when that same situation occurs. But it also does not apply to the same situation. It can apply to similar situations or other situations. Let's say you go for a job interview. Something that happens in a previous job interview will influence a future interview for something else you do or a future conversation you have. There are so many ways that they can link together that basically the smallest of actions can make a massive magnitude of difference in the way that you act in life. So for the example with this game, my dislike of the color blue immediately turned me off the option of picking it and put me towards picking up. But what if these previous experiences don't influence us? What if we truly do not have the ability to choose? As determinism, there is a bit of leeway there. You can still technically choose because your actions mean that you technically have agency of your actions, meaning that they're not predetermined, you're just predisposed to making said action. What if they are predetermined? What if it's fate that you pick them? Well, that's fatalism. Fatalism is the complete opposite of free will, in that every little thing you do, every breath you take, every blink you do, every word you speak, every person you meet, wherever you end up in life, if you have kids, if you die by that random guy on the street with a knife, it was all set in motion by a greater power. And if you are going to try to disprove me by saying something in the comments or doing something else, just know that that was predetermined if this is true. Fatalism means that everything that happens will happen the way it is meant to happen. So yeah, it's a fun way. If you like, comment, subscribe, dislike, call me a dickhead, I don't know. It was all meant to happen. That is how life is meant to go. The words I'm currently speaking now, if this is true, were always going to happen. There was nothing I could do to prevent it. It is such an interesting debate, these three ideas, as no side can truly be correct and no side can be proven. And to me, your belief in one of these three ideals shows more about your character itself than actually what's right. I myself do believe in free will. I believe that people do have complete agency over their actions. However, I do believe determinism does play a factor in people's decisions themselves. I don't believe it can be ignored that past experiences can influence people in making current decisions, because these decisions they're making, they might have past experiences of what happened when they made said decision. So that itself could influence them. But again, I can't prove that. That's just my belief. And guess what? If fatalism is real, conviction doesn't fucking matter, because it was always going to happen. It was predetermined. It doesn't matter if you stay on your path. It's such a fucking cool debate. I love fucking talking about this shit. So yeah, I guess all that's left now is to make our final choice. Let's go. Oh, wait, there's one more fish. This is the last guy, and he's a bit scared, and he's watching the other fish make their choices and counting them. This is really it, huh? I'll level with you. I ain't real sure I can do this. Did you run into that smart talking fella earlier? He sure did seem to know what he was talking about. Here, I've been always thinking I'm the biggest thing in the water. Look at me now, a big old boy, shivering like a scramp out in the blue. Ha! Anyway, I thought keeping track of how many fish went in either direction could help. Not sure if it did at all, let me tell you. Reckon you want to hear how many have gone each way? We are now given the option to choose if we want to hear how many went in each way. Now, if you choose no, he just moves on to the next part of his dialogue. So if you pick yes, he does speak a little bit more. Alrighty. By my count, 199 fish have gone up and 474 have gone down. All right, let's pause. Do you see the important part of this game? What changed? Just look at the dialogue. What's changed? There's the color. Fuck it. It's the color change. Up has always been red. From the start, it has been red and down blue. But now they are flipped. Why is this? Well, it is now to make it apparent that the colors mean jack fucking shit. They themselves are no longer an indication of what is to come, and is why I ignored doing a fucking color analysis of what each of the colors mean for the words, as, hey, in the end, it don't matter. They were just swapped by this guy, so it means that they're the same thing. But 199 up and 474 down. This is the first bit of, I guess, evidence that we have to make a decision now. We can choose one or the other based on this. And again, you can either choose to follow the larger crowd if you believe that the larger majority know what they're doing and know best, or you can choose to be like some people, choosing to avoid the majority. But still, we have no fucking clue what each of these means. Ain't all this just the worst than a loose flake in your gills? Well, hell, if I can't help myself at this point, maybe I could at least give you a better chance, partner. How about I go on and skadoodle into one of them and just holler out real loud the first thing I notice? What you think about that? Heck, it's so stupid, it might just be genius. Look at it, us, two big old oily friends making our own dang currents. Alright, hit me. Which way, partner? And now we can choose this fish's fate, up or down. And no matter what you pick, up or down, he says the exact same thing. Let me tell you before I go, partner, you made a dumb old fish feel real big again, right at the end. For a small little thing, you're looking real big too right about now. That's what I'm talking about. Woo-ha! It's time to go. Catch you on the flip side, partner. Moving forward, he calls out to us. Partner, here we go. Listen up. Ooh-wee! It feels soft. And yes, if you pick the other one, he says the exact same thing. So even this information in the end is worthless to us. It gives us no indication of figuring out what each choice even entails. And he goes silent, and now we must choose. And we're in the exact same place that we were in the beginning. No fucking clue what each of them mean. So first, I picked to go up. And now we get a bit of a text scroll, which, you know, I always hated hearing. Don't worry. A lot of people are going through the same thing. You're not alone. There's this selfish barbed wire inside my chest that coils up at that. No, my pain is more tragic, grander, deeper. If only you knew. That's not true, of course. I hate talking about it. because I hate people who talk about it, and that's not very nice. That's not okay. That's not how you can be about all this. It's not romantic, but at least it's true. Don't worry. A lot of people are going through the same thing. Now, honestly, if the game ended here at this line, I would have a lot to say. The game would very much be about how choices in life can cause so much stress and self-doubt in people's lives, linking it back to the debate of free will, determinism, and fatalism. Making choices in life is scary. Freezingly scary at times. Yes, it's true. Everyone does go through it, and if you are having genuine issues with this, it may be hard to talk to someone about it, as you don't believe that people can comprehend the issues that you have. But others do truly have the same issues that you do, and this applies to anything. Trust me, there is always someone out there who has gone through the same experience that you are going through right now. Talking about it may not be fun or romantic in the words of the game, or even make you feel comfortable. But at least you're being true to yourself and those around you when you are having these problems. All you need to do is reach out for help, and someone will listen back. Trust me, someone will reach back for you. Now, I really would have liked to end the video here, as I genuinely think this is a message that I want to convey to all of you. But it fucking doesn't end there, of course it doesn't. And that's what makes it the best USP yet. And now we can see what happens to the fish. We either become a nice fish sandwich if we chose to go down, and up we become whatever the hell this thing is. A useless swelling god. Well, if one is a thing of packed sardines which would make a sandwich, this is probably the waste from making said product. Tinned sardines, you have to throw out all the guts, eyes, bones, whatever else, and that's why you don't get them in tinned sardines. They're waste products. And this is the end of how fish is made. It is very much about how wasteful society is and how choices can truly make life harder than it actually is. And in the end, the developers have a message about there is others who go through this same experience. Now, once you finish it, there is an expansion to this game, but it's mainly used to advertise mouthwashing, which, yeah, it's fun. It plays like Katamari Damacy, but it gives more hints about the story of mouthwashing and also gives a call it insight into Curly's character and his regret on what happens in mouthwashing, showing he truly was an idiot. He isn't a perfect person, but I still do believe he is a good man. He is someone that wanted to do right. He just didn't have the conviction, I guess, to truly hold people to justice. But I'm not going to talk about that because it doesn't really link to this game at all and its message. It's more very much an advertisement for mouthwashing. And if you want a video about mouthwashing, you've probably already fucking seen it, but I did make it if you haven't seen it. But overall, what is the message of this game? It clearly talks about the issues with the food industry in a world of danger of trusting food that we don't truly know where it came from processed meat, chemicals, and large amounts of waste. And of course, the debate of free will, fatalism, and determinism, and the struggle that choices can cause in people's lives, and how we all just need to find a way to deal with it. Hey, thanks for watching. Yeah, this video was a bit of a weird one. Talking about funny fish is kind of fun, isn't it? Anyway, thanks for all the recent support, genuinely. I greatly do appreciate it. It's been a bit crazy, I will be honest, how quickly it's grown and how many eyes I guess I have on me now. I do plan to keep going, so if you're enjoying these videos, I do plan to keep going for as long as I find it enjoyable. But yeah, thanks, genuinely. If you made it to the end of the video, I greatly appreciate it. But again, thank you for watching. That's enough waffling from me. See you around, crocodile.